doing something.
All right, so it says it's going live. I don't know if it's live yet. Takes a little bit of a minute. We're live. Okay, Jamie, we're live, bud.
Wow.
I know we've been working hard at this, and we apologize for a few things before we get started. First of all, this is going to buffer weird, and there's going to be weird audio because we couldn't get Jamie's audio into the Hangout, so his audio to my computer speakers are being picked up by my microphone. So I'll try not to talk over you, Jamie.
Okay. I'll try not to be a robot.
Okay. All right, so why are we doing this? What's the point of what we're doing? First of all, let's talk about who we are, why it's important for us to be doing this in the first place. I'm Bryan Weiss. I run Day Tripper Photo. I've been doing it for a little while now, and a lot of you might know me through that. Thank you all for watching so far. And I also work at Henry's.com, I guess there's the website. But I work at Henry's, and unfortunately they're closed. So Henry's is shut down completely. I am out of a job, and it's stressing me out. So, of course, I reach out to Jamie. I say, dude, I'm going crazy. I want to do a show. He's like, I'm in. And that's pretty much how this happened, isn't it?
Yeah, here we are, working on our technical inner geeks.
Which is good. It's just good. And I think
something different.
Exactly. We have to, I think that we have a responsibility as community leaders, or whatever you want to call it, to try and motivate, inspire, educate whoever needs it during these crazy times. And these are some pretty crazy times. I don't know many people on Earth who've experienced a situation like this, not since the Scarlet Fever or something way back in the day, who knows. So it's all new to everybody, and people are confused and don't really know what to do and don't know what's going on. So, Jimmy, how has this hit you in your personal, your business, or in your personal life? How has the COVID-19 thing really crippled your world?
Well, it's completely shut my studio down. That's the first and most scariest thing for me, is it's completely shut on my ability as a photographer to bring in the money the way I used to. So now I'm left scrambling, thinking of, creative ways to keep cash flow going, and you can't reach out to businesses to do commercial work because most of them are shut down too. No product photography, everything's just kind of at a standstill right now. So we're just thinking and trying to figure out ways to help other businesses so that will bring me business once things settle down. It's a learning process for sure.
Yeah, and I think that's how a lot of us need to look at it, is now is the time to invest in building your brand or letting the world know what we're able to do, in hopes that after this whole thing is calmed down, we'll be able to recuperate. Hector, I just want to quickly say, yes, the buffer is way too slow. Unfortunately, it's going to be that way. What I would suggest is people kind of listen to the audio and join in that way. The video will buffer, but hopefully the audio will work okay. It's really slow, but the audio is good, Anne says. That's great, as long as we don't watch faces, which may be a good thing. And apparently now I'm echoing, so that might be the microphone thing. But hopefully it won't be too bad. Let's all keep our fingers crossed, and we'll get through this one, and hopefully each week we'll make the technical side of this a little bit better.
Yeah, we'll definitely get this figured out, because I look way better on my screen, just like all my photos.
It's true. That's true. We always have better photos on our phones than on our computers.
Yeah, it always looks better on our screens than anybody else's.
Okay, I do have a little bit of good news. A little bit of good news in our worlds. As of mid this week, Henry's Camera is reopening, or not reopening, but actually creating an entirely new thing on their website. It's live chat. So essentially, you can go onto the henrys.com website and chat to somebody and have them guide you through your process and suggest things or recommend products or recommend ways to use things. Even cooler than that is I'm going to be the guy doing it. So as of Monday morning, first thing, I'm going to be working with the Henry's team, and I will be that person that you would talk to through the Henry's website from 12 p.m. to 5 p.m. every weekday for the foreseeable future. So that could be a lot of fun, and hopefully it'll help our customers out. And I'll be talking to people coast to coast and having fun. So we'll see how that goes. We'll see if the live chat thing from Henry's is going to be a hit. I've already told Robert as soon as it's live, I'm going to give him a heads up, and he can talk to me, and he'd be the first person on the live chat. We'll see how that works. But it's an interesting idea. I think it's good that companies are changing the way they can to try and keep business flowing at least. It'd be nice if more companies were able to do something like that.
The online thing is picking up, and that's what I've been offering all my commercial clients is, hey, do you want help getting your business more online? Do you need help with deliveries? I'll be a delivery boy for the right price.
Take any work.
Anything to keep businesses, especially small businesses, to keep them rolling, because it is slow for everyone.
I mean, how many hundreds of thousands of people have been laid off, right?
Yeah, and it's growing. I can't believe how quick it's growing. It's kind of thought that the bigger companies would weather the storm and keep paying everybody, and they'd be subsidized, and it wouldn't be that bad. But now you're starting to see all your friends, family get laid off. I'm getting calls all the time from people, do you have anything? Because I'm off for the foreseeable future, and some companies are keeping benefits going, so that helps them out a lot, those people.
Yeah.
But it's scarier than I thought it was going to be.
Well, during all this time, when everybody is stressed and everybody is frustrated, it's our job to try and bring people up. So that's what we're going to do today. We're going to give people some things to think about, some things to try at home while you're home doing your own thing. Jamie, before we get into that, I want to point out the the initiative that you're doing right now. Can you explain it better? Of course, I didn't even explain it. So
yeah, I'm sure everybody knows about the front porch photo shoots or whatever everyone's calling them. They're starting to get controversial with a lot of people freaking out about even leaving your house at this point. I ran it by town council and everybody that, hey, I'm thinking of doing this. It's for our local community living. All the money I've raised is going to them. I'm literally not even getting out of my car. I'm rolling the window down. I've got a strobe attached to the back window of my truck, fired at the house. And I'm just sitting there for 5 minutes at a house, and did a couple today, doing 16 tomorrow.
Wow.
I'm just trying to raise some money for community living, because they had some unexpected costs with a Lots of Socks campaign I just did for them. In March 21st was World Down Syndrome Awareness Day. So I created all the posters for them, and some of their sponsors backed out last minute. So there was a lot of costs that they weren't expecting. So I'm trying to kind of subsidize that, and then next year, when they want me to help again, maybe there'll be financial benefits to my studio.
Fingers crossed.
Forward type deal.
Yep, exactly. And that's what we have to do. We have to do that. So let's see here. What do we want to talk about, Jamie? There's a few things. Photo ideas, indoor shooting ideas. You do a lot of cool stuff just in like your home studio. You do a lot of interesting kinds of photography.
Well, now my home studio is a real studio. So I'm supposed to be doing a lot more cool stuff. But it hasn't been getting the use I expected. I'm still on location more than I want to be before this, of course. But yeah, I've got, with this time off, I expected to rebuild my website, rebuild my portfolio, do all this amazing work. But when you don't have models, you don't have anybody to shoot, it brings you into more condensed area of photography and a lot of fun macro stuff with the splash photography and that kind of stuff that I'm trying to do to keep myself busy, and Brian loves so much.
Mm-hmm. It's a lot of fun.
Photography. Brian always mentions how much fun macro photography is when you're stuck inside.
Well, I mean, it depends on what it is you're shooting. I mean, I don't like some of the stuff like, for me, the flowers aren't that big of an attraction anymore. You know, I've shot a lot of flowers, things like that. But if you've seen my MeWe, now here's the problem. I wanted to share photos. I wanted to share all kinds of things in this chat. Everything I open is slowing everything down. So to open up the photos and share that kind of thing, unfortunately, is going to probably either disconnect me or do something stupid. So hopefully you're in the Day Tripper photo community on MeWe and you've seen the posts, or you've seen me on Facebook and seen the posts about the macro stuff that I have been doing, the light painting. That's the kind of stuff that I enjoy doing, where you can take a crystal and shine light the right way and have refractions going through that orb or something like that. That's where it can get really cool. So using flashlights and setting up little scenarios at home, that's something that I love to do. Macro is part of it, but I don't know, the flowers, I'm kind of over the flowers.
Kind of over that.
Yeah.
Before I forget, a good thing for everyone to do with all this time off is to learn their gear more. Get those cameras out and go through the menus, go page by page, item by item. Learn that camera inside and out while you're sitting locked up.
Yes.
With nothing to do. There's a lady, a girl I know in here, Alicia, and she was just asking me the day, she just got her first mirrorless camera, and she was having EVF issues where the EVF looked good and bright, but then looking at the photo, it was underexposed. So, of course, she asked me, and I couldn't think off my head. I knew you could change it. But Alicia, if you're listening, it's in the setup menu in the screen setup. And your EVF and all your brightnesses are right there, so you can dial it into your eye and get that issue fixed.
And keep in mind, too, Alicia, it's one thing to have your viewfinder looking good. It's another thing to have it accurate. And a really good way to get your exposure accurate would be to use your histogram. So even though you're looking through your viewfinder, you can review your photo, pay attention to your histogram, and that will tell you if it's bright or dark, and that'll give you a little bit better understanding of, is the screen accurate or is my exposure accurate? I don't know. Maybe you've already gone over that with her.
Histogram's the first thing I tell everybody about, but it's also the thing that I end up neglecting when I'm shooting. You're running around trying to shoot fast, and that is the only reason I switched to mirrorless, was because so much of my photography is split second and a lot of light changing. And if I'm in the studio, fine, but when I'm shooting events, weddings, I just found that I get so lazy that you just don't check all those little details. You catch that split second, and you don't look at the at your light meter in your camera.
Yeah, but also the more comfortable you get with your gear, the less you have to do that. Right?
To a degree. You still need to know where your exposure is at all times. And now when I go back and pick up my Nikon, the mirror DSLR style, I look through it and I don't even look at the meters now. I had it the other day just playing with it. And everything was black because I wasn't paying attention.
It's a bit getting used to. It's a big curve getting used to those mirrorless cameras.
Yeah, it's a blessing and a curse.
I'm very happy not using mirrorless. I'm still playing around with the mirrored stuff. I've got the D780 here I've been playing around with. Fun little camera. I'm checking out the chat. Robert suggested to Hector, he says that his macro lens is still at Gentech for repair, which really sucks because that's going to take who knows how long to get back at this point. And Robert suggested using a 50mm lens reverse. I actually have what he's talking about right here. So this is the Nifty 50, the original, the D series 50mm. and there's this adapter called the BR2A. Now, I don't know if you'll be able to find the adapter right away, but even if you don't, you can hold it on and just
It's
hold
Amazon.
What's that?
Amazon, they're still delivering, and they've got the adapters in stock last time I checked.
Correct. That's all it is. And it's a 52 mil thread, so if you have the 52 mil lens, which the 50 is, you can just thread that on and put it on your camera backwards. And that basically takes, when you have a lens, the front of it's bigger than the back of it, so it takes light and makes it smaller. If you put that backwards, now you're taking the light and making it bigger, effectively giving yourself a macro effect. And a little backwards mounted 50 mil is a good idea. Let's see, Hector says, I don't have a reversing ring adapter, and I don't feel like holding the lens manually to try and reverse focus. Well, I mean, that's absolutely valid. And to be fair, you have to open the aperture all the way. You have to, it's a completely different way of shooting, and focus is very limited because it's extremely shallow depth of field. But it's a thing, and, thank you, Robert, for suggesting it.
One of those things that I've wanted to try is when you tilt the lens, you put it in there, you don't mount it, and you actually tilt it side to side to get different effects.
Free lensing, they call this.
Free lensing.
Yes, free lensing. So you basically...
One of those things I've never tried and should try.
Do one of these kinds of... Yeah. Which I've done, and that's actually interesting because the photo challenge we're going to issue is going to kind of do what Jamie was suggesting to help you learn your equipment. It's going to give you a lot of use of changing your gear and learning your equipment. And it's where I generally shoot with this lens myself for this challenge. And I'll go into that a little bit more when we get to the photo challenge. But what other things can we do? Shelly, actually, my wife, gave a suggestion of a photography thing you can try. She called it the the cupboard stories. Cupboard stories. And you find food like elbow noodles or whatever, and you start using that to make little stories out of it, and then you get the lighting and you set up little scenes. I don't know. I think if I were to start doing that in the house, she'd come downstairs and ask me what I was doing, and then I'd remind her that you suggested this, and then she'd be like, "Clean it up, it's a mess." So who knows?
Yeah, exactly.
But it's a fun idea. Go through your cupboards.
Time lapse of your fridge. A photo every day of your fridge.
What, just food dwindling?
Inside the contents of your fridge and watching how they change over the week.
Oh my God.
Every day, one photo of your fridge.
You have to... Okay, there's another idea. What about documenting all of your valuables?
Yeah, the camera gear thing for insurance purposes.
Exactly. It's not artistic or anything, but it's a good use of time. Food photography. Jamie, have you ever really gotten into food photography?
Yeah, actually. Right before we went into lockdown, I spent the day at a new restaurant in town testing many meals, and what are you going to do once they cook it up, get it ready, what are you going to do with the food? So
it's all yours.
That was a good spend day in a nice restaurant, shooting food, shooting prep.
Are you a cook at home yourself?
I have, as long as my wife's not listening to this. I am the...
I'm definitely not.
I enjoy it.
I like to cook, but I tell you, matching my skills with Shelly's, forget it. Not going to go there.
I usually never want to eat it after I spend all that time cooking it. That's the way. It always tastes better when someone else does it.
Well, then just make the food and take pictures of it.
Make the food and take pictures.
There you go. And then give it to somebody else to eat. Feed the hungry. What about this? How about a scavenger hunt with the kids? This is something we used to do at work, where it's a really bad day at the store and we don't know what to do, so somebody grabs a macro lens, walks around the store and takes a picture of something, and the rest of the people have to guess what it was. The macro makes things so different. You just never know. You just never know what it is. I mean, you see this little thing, it could be just a pattern of a lens, and you have to find where that came from. So it'll see how well they do with the family and get everybody interested in like a little scavenger hunt. Could be fun.
Yep. Hector says he can't look through an EVF.
Yeah.
Hector, come on.
No, I'm with you.
I said the same thing. A little bit of a delay. I've missed more shots doing wildlife photography, being one frame behind all the time in the EVF. It's something you really got used to.
That's the problem. And he is a wildlife photographer. And kind of me too, right? Like, that's the problem. I don't like the EVF. Every time you take a picture, it pops up in there, and then you always that second behind the image. So it is frustrating. Yeah. Plus, there's a bit of a trail. If you go side to side, like if I'm panning doing a shot, there's a weird trail that goes in the viewfinder that, can be kind of awkward. But
yeah, I've with this newest update on my Fujifilm, it's the EVF has gotten way better for that. That leg is gone now. It's that I finally got a bald eagle where I wanted it the other day, and every single frame, he was 1/3 of the frame farther. I look through a DSLR, you get to the point where you know if you got it or not. You don't even have to chimp, because when that shutter goes, you know if you nailed the shot or not. Mm-hmm. Whereas in EVF, I find that my framing is always a little off for action.
Yeah, and it's something you get used to, hopefully.
Hopefully, and hopefully they keep improving. Hybrid would be so nice. And
well, that's kind of what the 780 is. The 780 is very much like a hybrid, and there was another one they're talking about. They're just bringing out is pretty. No, I think it's the 780 is really the hybrid. It's when you're in live view, it works just like a mirrorless. So when you're in non-live view, it works like an SLR.
Yeah, it's getting to the point where the X Pro 3 is, where it's the same viewfinder. You're looking through the viewfinder, and you go from live view to EVF. It actually flips the EVF down, so you have a camera that you're actually looking through the viewfinder, and you can do it both ways. Something like that would be nice in a medium format that was under $10,000. Can you do that?
Why is everything so expensive? And you know it's only going to go up. Pricing's going to go up after this. Alicia says, yes, that is something I need to do. The list my insurance has is way outdated. This is it. You know, we have the opportunity. We have the time. Let's gather up our expensive belongings, take pictures of it, document it, get the light nice, and do our thing. And then we have proof that we have all this gear.
Yeah. And a lot of that stuff comes down to accountability. And I kind of hope by doing these, we make everybody else a little more accountable to what they want to be doing. Because I know for me, that's a big thing. If there isn't a challenge or a reason to do something, I keep putting it off.
Yeah.
I need to get more product photography that isn't licensed already that I can promote myself with, because I don't do it unless someone's paying me for it. In most cases, they want to keep exclusivity for at least a year to those images. So I'm kind of at the point where I've got some cool images that I can't use, and I want to replicate them in my studio, but I never take the time to do it.
And now good luck with that.
Yeah.
So well, at least with models involved. Yeah.
Yeah, any model stuff is going to be impossible for the next little while. I should make a little, like those movies where you have the chamber to walk into and you get sprayed down and they come through in the studio.
Yeah. Actually, Robert suggested use your camera to make a cooking video. It's fun. It's funny because as soon as all this started, I turned to Shelley. I said, we should make those single moment videos of things that are going to happen only during this whole fiasco. You know what I mean? Just like a reaction that turns into a funny moment or something. Just one frame video of something that tells the whole story. That was my first thought. But what about even getting your family together and making fun videos? There's all kinds of things you can do with the kids. There's all kinds of fun video ideas that you can think about. As Robert suggested, make a cooking video or actually plot it out. Get a pad and paper. A pad of paper and pen, and make notes of movie ideas you might want to make with the kids, and ask the kids what character do they want to be, and build up this whole thing and have fun with it. I mean, that could be a lot of fun. If I had kids, I'd probably kill myself, but after that, I'd probably make videos and do lots of stuff.
Oh, trust me, I tried 2 videos with my kids, and it gets to the editing stage, and I never shoot enough B-roll.
A good tip. Shoot extra B-roll.
You can never shoot enough B-roll. I start video. I try, but it is a real different beast than photography.
It is. I mean, the biggest difference I find is photography. You create a single frame and leave it to the viewer to interpret the story. In video, you have to narrate the story completely, or else people just don't get it.
Yeah.
Mariola says she's having trouble hearing, keeps cutting out and lagging. I apologize.
It's getting worse too.
I don't know how to get past it. Hopefully when it uploads afterwards, it'll be better.
Yeah, let's hope that.
Yeah. Okay, let's just keep going. We've got a few more things we can mention, and then we're going to give our photo challenge. And next week we're going to hopefully be able to review the photos. I'm going to still try and figure out a way to play them on here so people can see them while we're doing it. One thing that I have to do, I don't know about you, Jamie, but I have to do this, is reorganize my hard drives.
Oh man.
I know it's not a photography thing, but
I year by year, every year I buy a new drive. Well, 2019 in September, my 3 terabyte a year goes up. So I thought, okay, when we get 5, I'll kind of blend it into 2020. And man, what a nightmare. And then Lightroom decided to do this weird crash. I don't know if anyone else had it, but every single one of my files is now a date, and there's no name associated with any folder.
oh no.
One of the 2 or 3 updates ago that it went around and made me update all my catalogs to a newer version. And then when it did that, all the file names were gone. So I took the important stuff, re-imported it and named it properly again. But that was a holy nightmare. So I'm in a disaster right now. I'm running off of 4 different hard drives, trying to get everything onto. When I got the studio, I got a giant 8 terabyte drive for the studio. So I'm trying to organize everything from the last 4 years onto that drive. So at least the important stuff is in one spot. But all the hubs and stuff, I really have to get into that and get something that works better.
Yeah, we all need a better system. I've got 17 terabytes in behind here on all different drives, and my goal is to get my wrestling on one, my Barry that way. But you drag a file to move it to another hard drive, it takes an hour for it to move, or 2 or 3 hours, and then you forget where it came from, and then you've got to go back and you got to find where it came from, and you got to make sure it was copied, and then you got to delete the original, and then
that's one of the problems. I don't delete the original. I just brought in 2017 and 2018, and I bet you there's 500 photos that I have 5 copies of that are identical because they've been moved here temporarily, not deleted, then copied back when I just say screw it and grab everything and move it.
And then how many duplicates you end up with?
Yeah, and like I said, there's 5 or 6 duplicates of 500 or 600 photos. And it was just from being a little bit lazy and rushed at the time and saying, I'll just dump it over here and figure it out later.
Well, here's a way that may help. There's a program called AVG Cleaner. You can download it for free.
Right.
And it will scan your hard drive and find all your duplicates and then either delete them automatically or let you choose which ones, like the oldest or the newest or whatever.
Yeah.
So that's something that can help. But again, that's very time consuming too, right? So it all takes time. But now we have some time.
That's it. And if I wasn't addicted to Northwood's Law and watching 10 episodes of that a day, I might be getting a little more done.
Well, it's funny, we were talking about it before, I'm very excited to get back to work. I'm very excited for Henry's to call me, the one person they called, to do this online chat thing and ask me to do it. I'm like ecstatic and proud that they asked me. Now I'm like, but I got all these things I want to do, and my brain was already set to be in like relax mode for a little while, and now I'm going back into, working every day of the week, and that's awesome. I'm not going to complain. I can't complain. I'm so stoked that they asked me. It's just pretty sweet.
I can't wait to see what it's like for you and what you think of it. I've always wondered about those people on their end. Wondered about their sanity. At least I know where you're at, so I can go in every day and just ask the most ridiculous. Okay, I'm new to photography. What's better, Canon or Nikon?
Sony. Ooh, I can get fired very fast for doing stupid things like that. No, it'll be interesting to see the interfaces, the programs they use, and all that kind of stuff. But I'm just stoked they're doing it. In fact, I thought about it a long time ago. I thought it would be great if they had this chat thing open, and then you can chat to your local store, and it would pop up at the store's manager's computer or something like that, and the manager would be keeping in touch, or there'd be an associate in each store doing that. So the fact that they're doing it, awesome. It'll be very interesting to see how it goes. And as I say, midweek is really when they're predicting it'll really kick. We're going to do some testing and trial and error until then, and midweek I think it's going to go fully live. Saw something interesting. You have families arranged to do shoots in front of the houses. You drive up, use a telephoto lens, shoot them, and they make a donation to the food bank. Jamie, that's exactly what you're doing. Blake is just talking about it.
It is. Yeah, Blake just missed it. He must have just missed it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm doing that. Not even leaving my vehicle. I got a strobe with one of those magnum reflectors on it, and I can actually, from 100 yards out, I can have a noticeable light improvement on the front of the house from 100 yards away. So,
Brilliant.
yeah, I'm doing it with 150 to 600 lens, and just kind of giving them a heads up what I want them to do for poses. Every 2 or 3 flashes, do something different, and 15 minutes, and I'm out of there.
That's a great way to remember the whole episode we're going through.
That's what everyone seems to be seeing it as, is a documentation of this isolation, and a fun way to do it. And hopefully at the end of this, I've got a $1,500 donation to community living. So
nice.
We'll see how it goes.
Very cool. We have one more suggestion. We've given 10. So carpet story, painting, macrotography of flowers. We didn't spend a lot of time talking about it, but it's a thing people can do. Scavenger hunt, the kids. Take a macro photo that the kids try and guess what it is for the house. Document your valuables. Food photography, especially if you have a chef in the house, that'd be very cool. Make some video, make a fun family video or something, or even create your own show where you're jotting down actual show ideas and giving the kids characters. It could be a podcast, a vlog, a short film, a feature film. Doesn't matter what it is. It doesn't even have to be uploaded, but it would be fun to shoot and it would be fun to play. So that's something else people can play with. Reorganizing your hard drives. And the last one is how about making some photo gifts. If you have a printer, you can make photos, print out something on a piece of paper, hand it to somebody. There's all kinds of things you can do. You can do online photo gifts, they'll ship to you. Henry's online photo finishing, I believe, is still going. I'm not sure about that, but there's a lot of other services that are available for online photo finishing. You do a lot of printing.
Between these photos, I gotta get in there and print off. I'm still printing hockey photos from before Christmas, so people like their prints.
Well, I think there's a huge resurgence on print, even at the store. Obviously, before we closed, we're going through a ridiculous amount of photo finishing. More than I've ever seen in the 14 years that I've been working at Henry's. So photo finishing is huge. Everybody wants that print. I guess digital is a lot of frustration for some people. And then, of course, there's the folks who don't even have a computer still. Let's see here. Anne says, you use a RAID drive with 2 external drives that are duplicates, having 3 backups.
That's something I've been trying to get into. I can't think of there's 2 really popular ones. And I've been trying to get myself to do it, but at $1,200 to $1,500 to get into something that I don't know a lot about, it's got me kind of hesitant. But my technical guy, before we got isolated, was looking into them for me for the studio to try to find a way that I can access that remotely too. That was a big thing, so that when I'm home at my laptop and someone needs something, I don't have to drive across town to the studio, open up the computer, get it done. I can be a lot more efficient with doing all those after-hours things that I promised myself I wouldn't once I opened the studio.
Exactly.
So it'd be 9 to 5, that was it.
Nope.
No, not when you're self-employed.
Nope, not at all. Someone told me that running off external hard drives all the same isn't good for the hard drive, and they will crash. And then Blake answered, all drives have a lifespan. Doesn't matter if it's internal or external. The big difference is internal has fast access to the computer. External is limited to USB speeds. So if USB 2, USB 3, obviously that makes a difference. And there are tools to get an idea on lifespan, especially with SSDs. Thank you, Blake. I just have hard drives here, but I also sync to Google Photos. I don't know if that's something you use, Jamie. All of my JPEGs, I can sync to Google Photos. Original high-resolution JPEGs, unlimited storage, completely free, and access those photos from anywhere, create an album from anywhere, and send links very easily, protected by privacy rights and so on. The only thing is it's not your original RAW photos. It's just the JPEGs. If you want RAWs, you can do that too, except you have to pay for that. So that's something to think about. Google Photos is a solid choice. Let's see here. I don't have any other suggestions for indoor shooting. If anybody else does, let us know. But in the meantime, I want everybody to check out our good friend, Joseph Leduc. Joe was a partner of mine at my studio when I had the loft studio with Robert and Navi and Gabriel. And he's just one of the most creative, funny guys I've ever seen. If you can find Joseph Leduc on Facebook, look up the photography he's doing right now. He's obviously home alone, well, with his wife, isolated. And he's got a teddy bear that he's putting in all these different scenarios. Today, the teddy bear was researching COVID-19. He had his goggles on and all the research tools are all around him. Yesterday, he was being covered by chipmunks. The day before that, he was, outside on a trail. I mean, he's hoarding his toilet paper. Awesome, fun guy. Let's see here. Congrats. Recommend when backups online. Yes, I do recommend online backup, Blake. And it says, congrats, Brian. I'm excited for you too. Happy you're the main chat contact. Me too. Thank you. I hope I do well at it. Alicia says, Kinnan. Icon. Just say
Fuji.
Fuji. There you go. Richard says Henry's picked the best of the best. Time will tell. Who knows? Hector says you should try next time doing this on Instagram Live. Maybe it'll have less buffer issue. There's a few options we've thought of. We thought of Zoom. We thought of Instagram Live. Maybe we didn't think of Instagram Live. We could.
Instagram Live was my first thought, but we can't save it.
That's the problem. We want to be able to save these for people to watch after the fact, which is the only reason why we're kind of sticking with YouTube. If it turns out that it's not going to work, then and people don't really care about saving them after the fact and watching them after, then we may change it. This is still in flux. Last time I did. So go ahead, Jamie.
I think the newest Instagram, you can actually keep it up for 24 hours. So it's better than nothing. But
can we do that from a computer or is that from our phone?
Good question. I know for sure you can do it from your phone, but
we'll look into it.
Yeah, we'll try it.
Cool. And I think we're going to aim for Saturdays at 8 because it seems to work for me. Jamie, it seems to work for you as well, as long as it's not Earth Hour.
Yeah, as long as Earth Hour doesn't happen every Saturday.
All right. Yeah, it's still missing bits. We will get better. Let's issue the photo challenge and let's say our goodbye as soon as we're done, because it's already 45 minutes in and people are already frustrated with the lagging and the buffering. So the photo challenge we're going to issue is the Naked Photography Challenge. Now, Jamie, have you tried this before?
I have.
The
old hashtag no filter, hashtag...
Yeah, kind of.
Yeah.
So the Naked Photography Challenge is pretty straightforward. It is one camera, one lens, and I generally end up throwing things around using my nifty 50 because I can do this way, I can reverse mount it, I can shoot all different ways, but I can't use more than one lens, shooting in JPEG, no editing, and you've got to sit yourself in a 10-foot by 10-foot area. So you're forced to look closer at things. Taking the picture of, say, this might get loud, the detail of the microphone. That's kind of interesting. It could be anything. You look around, it could be, the books that I have behind me. It could be a toothbrush. It could be, you name it, but it's got to be within that 10-foot by 10-foot radius. So no editing, 10 by 10 shooting area, shoot a JPEG, one lens, and take 10 photos that you're actually proud of. It can be done. I encourage you guys to try it.
No editing, ouch.
It's a lot of fun. You'd be surprised. Some of the benefits are, aside making some pretty cool photos that you might look at for a while, you're going to start looking more closely at things you normally wouldn't photograph. It's going to help you work with the settings on your camera. It's going to help you be more purposeful with your choices. And best of all, possibly best of all, is it